Here it is. It's happening. The Corolla you've asked for. You genuinely have asked for this. The Corolla XSE. Much to your chagrin, they have asked for this car.
People are asking if I've been paid off, or you're paying me off, or anything like that.
Yeah, because you have not wanted to drive this car. That's true.
Here's why. The Corolla has generally been looked at as just basic transportation. Not very often in its history has it been looked at as a potential enthusiast car.
Well, actually, I'll correct you there. The 80s, the early 90s, like the
That's what I'm
Corolla,
saying.
that
Not
kind
often.
of world.
I'm not saying across the board.
When they were rear-wheel drive and good, the Corolla was a name, and then it became lesser than the Camry as front-wheel drive. Awfulness.
I'm just saying, it's not often where you associate Corolla with performance car.
Not these days.
That's not in people's nomenclature. That's not in your heads. That's not in our heads. And so I kind of am curious with the new generation. This is Toyota's new global architecture. And I'm actually curious with the XSE, and that's what we're in. It's the 6-speed manual transmission.
Yes.
It is the hatchback, and it kind of has some sporting lead-ons.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast, and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
I will say this. The last Corolla, the Corolla S for sport, meant we put an S badge and a wing on it. On a front-wheel drive car.
Right.
Anyway, so this one at least looks the part. I love the color. I love the color. And they're suggesting that this is a genuine enthusiast car in spite of its front-wheel drive, let's be honest, economy basic architecture.
Right.
They're suggesting it's an enthusiast car. It is a 6-speed manual. It also comes with their, what is it, IMT, the International Mission Impossible Force.
Let's get to that. I want to start with the looks, though, because we're suggesting that there is something here.
Yes.
It has a spoiler that actually kicks up like a Focus RS. It's kind of racy and sporty, and it kicks up and you think, huh, this is a new hot hatch? I mean, has it come to play with Hyundai's Veloster N? Are we putting it together with that? Well, no, not exactly. But the styling suggests something more to it, or something is coming. And we know that Toyota is kind of teasing us. They're kind of getting back into the sports car thing. And Toyota, if you're watching, we hope you are.
Yeah, we want that.
You're promising all of us enthusiasts to get back towards some racing heritage that you have in your history. And so the 86 came out, and we thought, some sports car. But
by the way, some sports car road here we're on. We're deep in the hills of Malibu in California, where we got this press car. Thanks to Toyota for that. And I am not apologizing. Here's the thing. Could you buy this car and commute? Of course you could. It would be a perfectly acceptable commute car. I know a lot of people will. But if you're going to suggest it's a sports car and an enthusiast car, then we're going to take it on a back road and see what's up. This is a very aggressive, narrow road in Malibu.
Yeah, there's, extra cars kind of make it a little dicey, but...
Yeah, it's like a lane and a half wide.
Here's the thing. So the 86 comes out, and there is the promise of more power, more sport, more intention, and nothing really happens. We get a little bit of aerodynamics, and we get a little bit of, a tiny power bump.
As a former owner, it is a fantastic driver's car.
I'm not taking anything away. I'm just talking about the promise of where we're going. And so we've got this car, and I bring with it some hope, because I think, all right, is there some rally, something in the future? Because theoretically, Toyota could take this car, put a 300 horsepower turbocharged engine in it, and have a little rally monster, and all these enthusiasts would cheer, and the Corolla name would be forever forgiven.
Hey, at least it's sportier than having a wing on the back. I'm just saying, it's not wing and a little S on the back. This, honestly,
the S makes all the difference.
Look, let's talk hot hatch handling. Is this a Fiesta ST? No, it's not.
No.
But honestly, it's surpassing my expectations, which I will admit, I came in and went, Corolla, is it any good? But honestly, I am not apologizing. I'm chucking this down this road.
No, it's good. It's very good.
This is not a car, I think, that you go and try to get your best run ever anywhere, the track or the canyon. But I think it holds up well when you are faced with a canyon road, you're faced with an enthusiast road, and you go, I want to drive this hard. This car is genuinely fun driven hard. I mean, I've driven the Prius hard, and of course that car is not designed to be sporty at all. The Prius, when driven hard, it's not having a good time, and really kind of neither are you. This car, not just because it's a manual, because I'm not really shifting that much, I'm just putting my foot in it and enjoying it. This car does a pretty good job of feeling fun to drive, even though at the same time you can tell you are in a car, like for that example right there.
A little bit of drifty slide.
Some limitations.
That's nice.
Some limitations there.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You can find the edges. It's not a full-on sports car, but for a car with, I honestly think,
you can find the edges immediately.
It's living up to its looks by about 70%.
Okay. I was going to say not 100%. It's not fully there.
But my concern was that it looks like a sports car and just isn't. You know?
Sure.
And I think 75% of your expectations you bring to this by how it looks, and it holds up to that. I really think so.
Here's where it would more for me, and that is in the power department. We've got the manual.
Sure.
And look how tall the stick is. It kind of feels like some rally going on.
Yeah.
Long throws. It's got like, are we in a rally car? Is there going to be some sort of version of this that truly matches the paint color? Got the blue flame, which is the color, because if we're putting sporty colors on cars that now don't live up to what the color suggests or what the styling suggests, okay, but 168 horsepower.
We're making a special version to live up to the paint color.
I'm telling you.
Well,
if you paint your car a
gotta
crazy
do a special
fun color,
version to match the paint.
Am I wrong? I'm just saying. So I wouldn't go that far. This doesn't have the suspension. And even though it has the rear multi-link suspension, it is truly independent.
Yeah.
And Todd's chucking it around pretty nicely.
Honestly, it feels pretty good. It feels much better than I was anticipating.
All right.
I don't think
to
this is a full-on hot hatch. But for a car,
that's a little far.
For a car at what, 20 grand, 22 grand, I think, as built. I think it's a car that is genuinely fun at that price. Boy, the way this is a rough parking lot. Hang on, stay with me for a second, friends. Man. Look, the ocean. Hey, that's why we worked our way up here, because we have an ocean. Okay,
nice.
But honestly, for what this car is, I think it's genuinely fun to drive. But you can't come in expecting a hot hatch, because it isn't.
There's levels of fun.
Yes.
There's super fun to drive. There's amazing. I want to drive it all the time. This is not in that fun category, but there's more fun to be had than prior Corollas would suggest. Well, and for that, I give it good marks.
And I honestly think, and I want you to drive it just like I did, but I honestly think if you were buying a base hatchback, this is a good enthusiast choice, because you're not into hot hatches. You're into the level below it. I think this is a viable enthusiast choice at that level.
It's like base enthusiast.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Not full on. It's not a Focus RS. It's not anything.
Well, but
it's not a Golf R.
To that level, though, it's not. Well, I'll just stay on the same level, though. It's not a Fiesta ST. That is a full-on enthusiast car at the full-on economy price, but it's no longer being sold in the U.S.
True.
So now everything has come down. The ST used to be like the king of it. It's gone now. Now we're talking all cars that are never really designed to be enthusiast cars, but they have is this enthusiast fun to drive at all?
Sure.
This I think accomplishes that without being a full-on dedicated enthusiast car.
Okay, so real quick, the interior, quite a bit different. There's a lot of visual interest here. There's some piano black. The only chrome is the logo on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I like it. I actually kind of like it. You could criticize it for the screen here, but this is part of the fully loaded entertainment system here, the N-Tune here. And I'm actually intrigued. It feels base, but both exterior and interior, I'm seeing Lexus influence. I'm seeing a little bit of fussiness, a little bit more of care towards a lot of finishing of details. It's not just shape and here's the theme. This car has genuine rear fender flares. They're there. They're not huge, but they're there. And you can see, all right, is there going to be another generation? Will there be something? Toyota has promise with this car, and they could push it.
Yeah.
Will they? Probably not.
We'll see. We'll see. But
there's promise here.
While we're talking details, I have to say, this has two chrome framed exhaust pipe shapes on the back. Neither of those are the exhaust. The exhaust is a third port underneath the bumper that's just a little separate exhaust. So there's a little bit of body kitting going on here, but at least it looks cool.
If that happens on an Audi A6 or a Mercedes or something like that, not acceptable. On this car,
okay, all right,
fine.
I'll take that.
We've got some hints of what the shape would be, and then it's not there. For the price, I'm not super concerned. I'm not going to rail on this car because of you know, some fake details.
That's,
if you know
yeah,
what I mean.
and that's fakery.
On a luxury
okay.
sedan, not acceptable. On this, all right, I get it. Yeah. Just rolling from a standstill here, the thing that could bring more enthusiast bones, but actually kind of takes it upscale, is the electric parking brake.
Yeah.
If it had a handbrake,
yes, that would suggest enthusiast.
We'd all think like, oh, what we've got
even
something
more of an
here.
Enthusiast car. At least I can slide the back around.
Exactly.
Electric parking brakes, by the way, don't let you do that. They're not fond of that. They're just not. Yeah.
I tried it in the snow in the Subaru, and it didn't work too well. The car freaked out. So I'm guessing this would too in a dirt parking lot. So we're not trying it.
This is a genuinely good 6-speed, except for two things. Oh yes, we should navigate the Grand Canyon of parking lots first. Yeah.
There's
all right.
a few ruts here.
Yeah,
it's all good.
You needed a rally version. We're going to have a rally version in just a minute.
The car's fine. It's doing great. All right, here we go.
So yeah, this 6-speed, the shifting feel is fine. The stick is twice as tall as it needs to be on this car. Honestly, I don't think it adds to the feel. I think it gives a less enthusiast feel because it's not a quick shift. It's this big truck-like movement in a car that is otherwise tiny. The other big surprise is that the catch point, and this is a brand new press car. See this car hustles.
It does kind of hustle. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. This is kind of fun, actually.
It is. It's genuinely fun. The big surprise is the fact that the clutch pedal from the factory is really light and very high off the floor. It feels very kind of rubber band springy, and that catch point is in the last little bit. It should have a more progressive catch point. Am I being picky? Yes, I'm being picky.
That kind of thing, though, is the feel of clutches going bad. I mean, that's what I got used to growing up on a lot of cars. The clutch engages really high off the floor. That just means there's less meat on the clutch, and you know it's going to be going.
How much of a press car is this? Is it meat on that badly? What's the mileage?
2,800 miles.
2,800 miles. I don't think the enthusiast journalists have killed it that quickly. No. But yeah, it catches really high, and it's very spongy before that.
Yeah. Well, there's just a lot of easy to drive nature about the car.
That's true. You could commute it easy as a result.
Fulfilling for the car.
Agreed. And that is impressive. And hey, the brakes work, which is good.
Brakes work.
But it has this IMT with the intelligent manual transmission. To Toyota's credit, the default.
A lot of road noise.
Yes.
This is a rough road.
Well, it's a very rough road. Every car on the planet has road noise.
I'm not taking that corner quite as fast as I could because the other side is just grass.
It's a cliff. It's not even a guardrail. It's just cliff.
Yeah, it's just burned out.
We should stay on the road.
I want to go faster, and I think the car could. Actually, I think the car could go faster.
Credit, Ben. That's excellent.
Yeah, that's a point.
But this intelligent manual transmission, that is essentially rev match. That's all we're talking about. Other companies have done it. It's Toyota putting it in this car, which the benefit of that to you is commuting. Because of this really light clutch pedal, because of the easy throws of the shifter, which, again, I wish it was tighter, but if we're talking about a commute situation, that intelligent manual and the light clutch pedal feel are going to be things you're going to like having in that scenario.
Sure, I can definitely see that. And I've noticed many of you have driven the same kind of thing, the rev match in a lot of cars. And we're expecting, as enthusiasts, when we do it ourselves, we get that rev match pretty early. This actually waits until you're fully in gear and you're feeling the clutch engage. Yeah. That's when it blips the throttle. And it's good. It does it exactly. It just doesn't do it as soon as you think.
That's an interesting point, yeah.
And so I'm thinking, well, it's not there. It's not. Okay, it did it. All right. Points. That's good.
Toyota also defaults it off. They have assumed,
that's a great point.
Which is surprising, honestly, because generally when you see the rev match, it's defaulted on. And I expected that in this car. It's not the case. It defaults off because I guess they assume, I think rightly so, if you buy a manual transmission, you know how to drive a manual transmission. But if you'd like some help on the track or in your commute, the button's right down here in front of the gear shift. You hit it, the little light comes on the dash, and it'll rev match up and down.
I mean,
this hustles. Come on.
I'm expecting, honestly, I was expecting a lot of understeer into that corner.
Tell me.
That's why I stayed away from it, but it's turning in happily.
Tell me this car's not exceeding your expectations right now.
It is.
See?
Okay, only 168 horsepower, but okay, all right.
It's a level below hot hatch, but it is a convincing enthusiast car.
You keep your momentum in this car, and you can surprise a lot of people with as lacking on paper as it is. It's kind of spry. It's sort of fast.
And we're about 3,000 pounds here. This is not a heavyweight on power. Not a heavyweight on power.
It's the pebbles.
But you can toss it around. We are tossing it around.
I'm impressed. This car is hanging on better than I thought it would.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's turning in hard, and it's happy and enthusiastic.
So wouldn't it be interesting for Toyota to make a full, like a turbocharged, really buckled down sports version of this? Drop that gear stick in half, honestly.
That far,
Change yes. It needs to be little. It needs to be this little tiny movement.
I suppose.
Change the clutch feel and give it, hey, how about all-wheel drive? No, seriously. Because then it'd be 35 grand, and then it'd have to compete with the Golf R, and that's too much for this car. But if it was 28 with a turbo and a slightly different tune, wouldn't that be interesting?
I mean, Toyota would have to justify the Corolla name being 28,000 with some goodies. It would have to have a turbo. All-wheel drive would be preferable, but they could sort this chassis to be kind of like a Type R or a Civic Si. It's only front-wheel drive, and it performs brilliantly because I feel the bones, I feel the promise in this car, and I want to extract more. There's places where it starts to let you down a little, and you back off, and you think, I don't trust the car that far. But by the way, for the price,
this road's a cliff edge. There's a lot of backing off for that reason too.
I'm just like taking it easy. We're not tiptoeing, but I'm just sort of like nothing to prove here because then it'll be blue car at the bottom of the canyon. We don't want that
with us in it, which is even worse. Yeah.
So I'm feeling the promise. There's stuff here to work with.
Agreed.
And that's what makes me think Toyota is going to bring more out. But then
maybe
the example of what they've done with the 86 has made it like, come on, where is it?
I see that.
And they keep teasing us. They keep, yanking the carrot out of our hands.
I know. But look, with the Supra, the 86 in this car, they are at least playing to enthusiasts and saying, who are you? What's your budget? What's your kind of car? Look, would I buy for similar money? Would I buy the 86 over this? I would, because I like the rear-wheel drive.
Sure.
But this is a almost hot hatch. It really is an almost hot hatch.
That's a great way of describing it.
And I think it exceeds the expectations I brought in, and I think it's
that turn-in was great.
It's good. It's good. Yes.
Okay, I am.
I like it when cars surprise us. I have to say it.
I do too. I'm pleased to say that this little Corolla is improved dramatically from an enthusiast point of view, and it's come to play. It doesn't have all the tools. It's not fully equipped.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, if it did, it'd be pretty dang good.
I don't think it's far away. It's an almost hot hatch, but for real affordable money, low 20s money. That's good. Now, granted, the Fiesta ST was low 20s money on a full hot hatch, but it's no longer here.
So that's true.
You're competing in a world against things like the Honda Fit or the base Mazda 3. Now, the base Mazda 3 has more room. The Mazda 3 in any form has room. There's not a lot of room in the back seat of this, and there's not much room in the hatch.
You can see getting in and out is not fun.
It is a small car in the back seats and the hatch. It's not a big car, and the Mazda 3 beats it there. If you're looking for luxury, if you're looking for space, you can't go here, I don't think. But if you're talking, I can't really afford the hot hatches, I can't get to 30, okay, all right. I can see this. I really can.
Little redemption for Corolla going on?
Yeah,
why not? Is that what I'm hearing?
Hey, I think so.
I mean, the engine note, it's revving.
It's a 4-cylinder.
And, downhill.
Yeah. Mini cars are fast downhill. Well, that's really no category at all.
I'm just saying, it just kind of got after things. It's eager.
It is. It would like to please.
I mean,
it wants to be. It wants to grow up to be a hot hatch.
It does.
It really does.
It's not a puppy dog humping your leg yet, but it's almost there.
Wonder if Toyota could make us a hot hatch version.
I would love that.